In every moment of our lives, there exists an invisible force that tugs at our consciousness, shaping our decisions, our actions, and our destiny. This force is power, and though we may not always see it clearly, we feel it in every decision we make, every word we speak, and every action we take. Power is not something that is handed to us on a silver platter. It emerges slowly, quietly, like a whisper in the wind, barely perceptible but undeniably present. In the beginning, we may not even recognize it. It could be as simple as the ability to control a situation, influence a conversation, or even make a small decision that has a ripple effect on others. In these moments, power is like a seed, hidden beneath the surface, its potential waiting to unfold. But power, like the wind, is not something we can always grasp or control. It is elusive, it shifts, it changes, and it grows. It doesn't announce its arrival with a loud bang or an extravagant display. It arrives as a subtle shift in the air, a change in the way we view the world around us. And once we feel it, we can't ignore it. Suddenly we're aware of our own influence, our own ability to shape the course of events in our lives and in the lives of others. But with this awareness comes something else, something far more significant, something that most people overlook: responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility, and it is in this truth that the true essence of power lies. It is not enough to simply have power. We must recognize the weight it carries. Power is not just the ability to act, to make things happen. It is the burden of knowing that every action we take sends ripples through the world around us, affecting not just ourselves, but those who come into contact with us. We are not isolated beings. Every choice, no matter how small, has consequences. And when we are in positions of power, those consequences are magnified. The decisions we make don't just shape our lives, they shape the lives of others, sometimes in ways we cannot fully comprehend. This is where the true challenge lies. When power enters our lives, it can be intoxicating. The ability to control our surroundings, to make choices that affect others, is both exhilarating and frightening. But the temptation to use power for our own benefit, to push others aside, to manipulate situations for our own gain, can be overwhelming. We forget in these moments of temptation that power is not just something we wield for our own benefit. It is something that comes with an inherent responsibility to the world around us, to those who may not have the same privileges, the same opportunities, or the same power. And this is where the great mistake often occurs. We get caught up in the allure of power, in the rush of being able to shape our reality, and we forget that our actions have consequences. Power is a force that must be tempered with wisdom, with humility, and with an understanding of the greater good. If we do not respect the responsibility that comes with power, we risk becoming tyrants in our own lives, imposing our will on others without regard for the impact it may have on them. We lose sight of the bigger picture, and in doing so, we destroy the very things that made power meaningful in the first place. To understand the true nature of power, we must first understand responsibility. Responsibility is not a burden, it is a privilege. It is the opportunity to use our power for good, to make choices that benefit not just ourselves, but the world around us. It is the acknowledgement that with every decision we make, we are shaping the future, not just for ourselves, but for others as well. Responsibility forces us to look beyond our own desires, beyond our own ambitions, and consider the needs of those around us. It requires us to ask difficult questions. How will my actions affect others? What consequences will arise from my decisions? Am I acting in a way that benefits the collective good, or am I simply serving my own interests? The true essence of power lies not in the ability to control, but in the ability to serve. It lies in the humility to recognize that our actions, no matter how small, have the potential to change the course of someone else's life. Or is it because society or social media is pressuring you? Stoics were somewhat countercultural in that they didn't care about impressing others with status. They cared about living virtuously and wisely. If you find yourself yearning for a luxury car mostly to show off, a Stoic approach would be to recognize that impulse as a distraction. It's an external seeking approval. Instead, focus on internal achievements, like improving your craft, being a good friend or parent, or learning something new. When you shift your pride to those internal things, the flashy externals become less alluring. Also, consider generosity as an antidote to greed. Stoics like Seneca wrote a lot about kindness and giving. If you have more than you need, share with others or invest in causes you care about. This not only keeps you humble about money, since you're using it to help, not just to hoard, but it also brings a sense of purpose. You're telling yourself money is a tool for good, reinforcing that tool not identity mindset. Paradoxically, generous people often feel more wealthy in spirit than those who keep everything to themselves. Stoic practices for wealth mastery. Actionable takeaways. Let's summarize some practical Stoic strategies you can start applying today to master your money mindset. Remember what you control. Write out a 2-column list. In one column, list aspects of your financial life you can control. For example, your spending habits, how much you save or invest each month, your reaction to financial events, your willingness to learn. In the other column, list what's out of your control: stock market movements, inflation rates, other people's wealth, etc. Whenever you catch yourself worrying about money, revisit this list. If it's something you can't control, breathe and let it go. If it's something you can control, take a small concrete action instead of worrying. This exercise is a direct application of Stoic wisdom. Practice negative visualization. Once a month, take 10 minutes to imagine a financial setback and how you would deal with it. Literally close your eyes and picture, say, what if I lost my job next month? What would I do? Don't do this to scare yourself, but to familiarize your mind with the possibility without panic. Then maybe imagine yourself working a simpler job, cutting expenses, and still finding moments of happiness. This will build confidence that I'd be okay. After the exercise, you might even feel a rush of gratitude that you do have a job and income now. You've simultaneously reduced fear and boosted appreciation. Try Seneca's poverty test. Challenge yourself to a day, or even a weekend, of living super frugally. Eat basic cheap meals, beans, rice, simple vegetables. Wear your oldest t-shirt and skip any usual luxuries. Maybe avoid using your car and walk or take public transit if possible. Essentially, simulate having a lot less money. Observe how you feel. You'll likely find it's not as bad as imagined. There might even be a sense of liberation in the simplicity. This Stoic drill not only kills the fear of being broke, but it also recalibrates your understanding of needs versus wants. Plus, when you return to your normal life, you'll notice an increase in gratitude for little comforts like a hot shower or a full fridge. Detach from comparisons. In the modern world, this means possibly curating your social media or environment. If scrolling Instagram and seeing lavish vacations and new cars makes you envy or feel less than, take a break from those triggers. Remind yourself of Epictetus's principle. Those people might have more things, but do they have peace of mind? You are working on something deeper. You might even write a personal motto like money is a tool, not a scoreboard, and keep it where you'll see it. When you stop comparing, you can make rational financial choices that suit your life.